Alright, this 2012 WRX, I got it all bolted back together. The guy's got to go get a tune on this car. I told him when he gets a tune he should probably get a wideband. So he got all crazy and he bought this triple tree thing. I got to put on a pillar post, and he got 3 different gauges. He got an oil pressure and a boost gauge and a wideband. So I got to put all this crap on his car. When I put this thing together, I found out that the oil pressure sending unit wouldn't fit because it goes behind the alternator way down in there. So yeah, I thought I could just use a grease gun hose. And actually I thought about doing that, and then after I bought it I went online, and there's a whole bunch of people that are doing it. So I thought I came up with a brilliant idea, and somebody's already been doing it. This should work just fine because it's very high pressure stuff. And I ran a wire from down there up here, and I put a T in it so he can run his factory oil pressure switch on his dash so his oil light will work. And then this is the sending unit. I just flopped it over here because it seemed like a good place to put it. It shouldn't get in the way of anything. So yeah, I did that while I was building the damn thing. Alright, I haven't done one of these before, so I'm just kind of winging it. First thing I gotta do, you gotta pop that out. Ooh, I'm gonna need a 10mm for that. Now thankfully this downpipe has a bung for the wideband. If it doesn't, you're gonna have to weld one. These are kind of a pain in the butt to get apart. I found a good place to run these wires, and this flat is a little too wide for the hole I'm going to try to jam this thing through. This is for the oxygen sensor. If you want to take these apart, what you got to do is that little purple thing in there. You got to take a screwdriver, a little screwdriver. You got to pop this out that way, and there's 2 holes for every pin, and you gotta just work them pins. You can until you feel the little tabs unlock, and then you can pop this out. So you pull that out. There's little tabs on here you gotta push in. I marked all the wires so I know where they go, and I'm gonna take all these apart so I can feed this through a little hole. I actually took and cut the points off of these pins too, so it's a little easier to work with. There is a special tool you can buy to get these apart too, but I'm not that special. I've always used pins and picks and stuff to get these apart. Just being a bear. I'm wearing out my finger, that's all I'm doing. Little pain in the butt these things are. There, I got them all. Now I gotta stab these wires. I could tape them up, but I got shrink wrap, so I just, I got like 4 wires here, and then I folded 2 of them back just so I got a little more room. I'm going to shrink this down. But yeah, I can just twist that since it's still hot. That'll work real good for me. The hole I'm choosing is right there. There's actually fuel line running through there, 3 fuel lines, and on the top there's an empty hole. Some people go through the pillar, through the door on this side. I'm not going to do that though, just because. But yeah, you can get under here and you can pull this back, this padding, and you can stick your hand up here and you can feel that fuel line. And I I can feel that rubber boot. I found a place to mount this digital boost gauge. This is where the old boost controller was. This is where the new one is now. Now I got these 3 wires here. Power, ground can go anywhere. And then this is the sensing wire that's coming from the gauge. This accessory power, I gotta find an accessory power in the engine compartment or run it inside. So I found one, no thanks to Google. You just take this out. There's a little tab right here. You pop this out, and there is a green wire with an orange tracer. That's an accessory wire. I tested it with a test light too to make sure, so I'm going to tap into that, and I got to run that into the red wire. Yeah, I don't like using these hokey little blue things either. They can wreck your wire. I'm just going to put a little solder on here to hold these 2 wires together. There, that's a good solid waterproof connection. It's not going anywhere. Okay, I got this big conglomerate mess. I black taped 2 black wires to it, and I got red tape on one of the wires on the front and the middle and the back, so whatever one I use, I know which one that's going to go to, so I don't have to run a continuity check to see what I did. That's the best angle I can get of it. I got this tool, little sharp blade. I'm going to try to stick it back there, and I'm going to, from the inside, and I'm going to try to poke a hole through it, because it should just need a little hole because it's rubber and it's not that thick, and then I'll be able to poke this wire through. Okay, now I can put this Humpty Dumpty back together again. I actually wrote it down and I took a picture just to make sure I don't screw anything up. Okay, I didn't screw that up. You just got to get in here with a little pick or something. You push that over. That doubly locks them in, so they don't go anywhere. I got the gauges in here. I can't use the brackets to screw them down. I just pushed them in, and they're actually pretty solid in there. You can probably turn them and pull them out and put them in if you want, but they're not going to rattle around or anything. So it's probably a good thing, because when they get in there I can adjust them. Yeah, they stay in really good. You can't use the dimmer switch on this Subaru because of the way it's wired. It's all ground instead of powers, so the lights for the dimmer and the power I got all tied in together, so all the oranges and reds are tied together, and that's got to go to an accessory wire. And then the grounds, I put those together, and that's got to go to a ground, obviously, and then the 2 green wires go to them black wires that I got from the sending unit that go into the firewall. And this one's wired the same way, but there's a box for the wideband that this plugs into. So I gotta plug the airflow sensor into the box. I gotta plug this into the box, and then there's a plug just like this coming out of it that's going to have the same kind of wires in it. And I'll have to tie all those in somehow together too, I think. I pulled this panel off. It's really easy to take off. It's just clips. And then there's all kinds of room down in here. So I can stab all them wires down here, and I got all kinds of room to work with. I don't think you got to screw with this pod set. I guess I got to do a for now thing. I don't want to get that really tight. I just want it in there just to hold it. Nothing like saying I love you better than a rusty old bolt from a Honda. Yeah, you screw this in too far, it's going to crack. Yeah, I would think that there'd be a shim on the back side of this, because you could keep screwing this down until it cracks. It breaks. I don't know, kind of hokey. Okay, I got a nice big mess of wires. 2 down, a few more to go. Everything's black. Might not be able to see real well, but let's see what we got here. Sensor. The big fat wire. I'm going to have a lot of extra wire to deal with. The box marked sensor. The gauge, marked gauge. For 12 volt negative ground vehicles only. What output for? One's 3-pin, one's 4-pin. I'm probably going to need this one for 12 volt negative ground vehicles only. Yeah, this 3-pin wire here that says analog output, that's for data logging. I'm going to plug it in just so the wire's there. It's probably never going to get used. I got so many other gobs of wire though, why the heck not? More gobs. I might have to do something different with it, but for right now I'm just going to zip tie all this up in a bundle. I could actually find a place to put this box right now. Okay, I think I found a good place for that. Just stuffed it up under the dash somewhere. I gotta mess with these wires right here. Now, assuming that I know what I'm doing, it says orange goes to 12 volt dimmer, connect to headlight switch. That's the orange. And the white goes to ignition. So I think I gotta hook these up together, because the dimmer switch on here is a grounding system, so it doesn't work right. So it's just got to be on when you turn the key on, just like the other gauges. So buttons. So this is an accessory. The red is a battery hot, so that's constant power. So like the radios are always orange, the constant hots, and I have an orange wire, so I can use an orange wire. That way I don't have to mix up the two. I know that red's accessory and orange is regular power. And black, we all know what black is. I'm going to tape all this junk together just to... Oh, shit. Forgot about this black. Oh, shit. What do I do? I can wrap this up and stuff it back where all that other wiring is for the wideband. Well, the ground's not hard to find. I'm probably going to use this hole right here for a ground. There's the junk. I'm waiting for the wideband to read something. I got a heck of a lot of oil pressure, that's for sure. Brand new engine, I should. Good vacuum. Takes a little while for that wideband to read. There it goes. 14.7 to 1. That's stoic. That's perfect. So that's what they do. These seem like alright gauges, I guess. Okay, I'm good and satisfied with the way I put this together. I got wires here. I can disconnect them. I got connectors right here that I can unplug for the vacuum boost sensor, and I can unscrew this one, and I got both grounds hooked up, one from the boost sensor and one for this. The ground is going right here, and I can unscrew those, and I can unscrew that. So if I ever have to, if anybody has to do any work to this, they can unplug everything and just take this loom and flop it out of the way they're supposed to when they pull an engine or whatever. And the vacuum line I got hooked up to the wastegate with a filter, and I zip tied everything to make sure they don't pop off. I zip tied these too because they like to pop off once in a while. I initially put it on the turbo, but it wasn't getting any vacuum, so I had to reroute it. And yeah, I got the 3 wires here. You can barely see them. I got them buried really good, and I made them all black so it blends in with the rest of the car. I got the 1 accessory wire in the fuse box running out here to the boost sensor, and then I got the wires underneath the fuel line going down into there. And I put a wire loom on here because there's a lot of sharp metal on here. I don't want it cutting anything, so I put it all the way up till it's away from the metal. And I got the ground right here. That's my ground for all the gauges. And then if I pull this fuse box, this is my accessory power. I just use a spade connector. I actually had to cut it in half because I couldn't find one that was skinny enough for a mini fuse. And stabbed it in there. That's my accessory power. And then my battery power for the wideband. You needed a constant battery power. I found it right there. It's an unused relay slot. It's underneath the steering wheel next to the fuse box. That's a good battery power for that. And then also I got the data logging wire right here because I think the tuner might need to use that. So I wanted it to be pretty much accessible. And I put the box right up here. It's in a good spot. I stuffed all the wires up there, you know, behind the fuse box. And it's in a good spot. Nothing should happen to it. I might zip tie it down to something, but I don't think it needs to be. It's in a really good spot. And that's it. That's my build. It's done.